Just try to be precise with it.
Out of all you fighters I see getting on, doing the mitt work or the pad work, whatever you want to call it, I see y'all doing all this.
Gervonta Davis isn't happy after catching a glimpse of Jake Paul working alongside Floyd Mayweather in preparation for the upcoming fight. Mayweather points out that boxing is built on discipline, conditioning, and proving who can land the most effective shots. He stresses that the sport isn't only about flashy footwork, but about pushing your body to the limit and showing who can handle the grind. Those words don't sit well with Davis, who feels brushed aside. Meanwhile, Floyd gives credit to Jake Paul for his dedication in training and his willingness to test himself in the ring.
I just like to push myself to be the best at whatever I do. It could be basketball, football. My dad introduced me to boxing in 1977, and I just took it to the next level. I love boxing, I love competing, and I love being the best. What's good with the fight camp so people can compete with one another, push each other, and it's fun. People want to see who hit the hardest, who's the fastest, who could throw the most punches, so it's a great product. It's about just competing and working hard, getting in shape, and enjoying yourself while you're doing it.
Pauli Malignaggi looks at Gervonta Davis through a historical lens. He points out that no matter what friction exists between Tank and Floyd Mayweather today, it's impossible to overlook how much Floyd influenced his rise. In Malignaggi's view, Mayweather was key in refining Tank's skills, enforcing discipline, and laying the kind of groundwork that turns a good prospect into a world-class fighter. Even if Tank tries to minimize Floyd's role or focus on their current fallout, the truth is that those years of guidance under Mayweather shaped the athlete we see now.
He was a flashy guy, and I actually like that win for Gervonta.
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia, a lot of fluff again because he's a YouTuber who's never accomplished anything else besides being a YouTuber. Though there is talent there, it's unfulfilled and untapped talent, and the loss to Rolly Romero tells you that. So what has Gervonta Davis created, aside from being a manufactured creation that got a big push from Floyd Mayweather? Let's be honest here. A big push from Floyd Mayweather. And then after that, let's match him very carefully. Because what do? We wanted to do the same thing with Adrian Broner, who had the balls to fight everybody. Say what you will about Adrian Broner. Had the balls to fight everybody. Didn't duck a single fight. And they said, you know what? We wanted to do this with Adrian Broner. We wanted to just manufacture a star before he was made into a star. And we kind of messed up by matching him too tough. So the pendulum swung in the complete opposite direction here. It's not like you balanced it out. You went in the complete opposite direction and made this guy fight absolutely nobody constantly. And let me tell you something about the Lamont Roach fight. He's a 16-1 underdog going into the fight because they knew they didn't want to fight anybody who was a risk. There's a reason he's ducking the Lamont Roach rematch now. Because now you realize, wow, this guy is a threat.
Jeff Mayweather doesn't sugarcoat his view on the talk of a possible fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He says the size gap is just too big to ignore. In his eyes, Jake naturally carries far more weight and a larger frame, and that alone changes everything. Boxing has weight divisions for a reason, and Jeff highlights how this matchup would throw that rulebook out the window. Davis has dominated at lighter weights with his speed, precision, and knockout power, while Jake has been competing at cruiserweight against men built on an entirely different scale. For Jeff, putting them in the same ring doesn't just challenge competitiveness, it brings the fairness of the fight into question.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being exhibition, makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Promoter Eddie Hearn shares a comparable view but pushes the conversation even further. He insists that boxing as a sport and boxing as entertainment must remain separate, and a matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul dangerously blurs that line. In Hearn's opinion, the fight isn't truly competitive in a boxing sense. It's built more as a business play, fueled by celebrity appeal and social media hype. He highlights the obvious size difference as proof that the contest isn't about skill being tested on equal terms, but rather about selling a spectacle to the masses. Hearn admits that financially, the event would be enormous, attracting global attention and delivering huge pay-per-view numbers. But as someone who values boxing for its sporting integrity, he's uneasy when fights are arranged more for profit than for competitive merit. Still, speaking as a promoter, he acknowledges that it would be a commercial success, guaranteeing headlines, ticket sales, and record-breaking buzz, even if traditional fans feel the sport's standards are being compromised.
Next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show, shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, you know, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former UFC champion Michael Bisping offered his own angle on the discussion, drawing from past exhibition fights where financial motives often outweighed competitive integrity. He suggested that Jake Paul might actually come out on top against Gervonta Davis, not strictly because of better skill, but due to his size advantage and the business-driven nature of such events. Bisping pointed out that exhibitions don't carry the same standards as sanctioned title fights, which leaves more room for outcomes to be shaped by spectacle rather than pure competition. With Jake's bigger frame and the flexible nature of an exhibition, Bisping believes the scales could easily tip in Paul's favor.
But you know what? Fair play. If he does go out and fight Anthony Joshua, which I wouldn't advise because that would be extremely dangerous, then fair play if he was to do that. And all the critics and people like myself would have to shut the hell up, because I always said he's looking for fights that were manufactured, looking for fights that were predetermined. And by that, I don't mean fake fights. I don't mean fixed fights. I mean fights where the odds are so stacked in his favor that, of course, he's going to win. And, of course, we see this. The latest match that's going to go down November 14th at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Jake Paul is taking on, you've seen it by now, Gervonta Tank Davis. A man that is a lightweight in boxing. Now, lightweight in MMA is 155 pounds. Lightweight in boxing, 135 pounds. Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds.
Official weight, 227.2 pounds.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet and then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you? That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It was bad enough when he fought Mike Tyson, a man that was 58 years old, and he was walking around like, I just beat the baddest man on the planet. I just destroyed Mike Tyson and went out there and I beat him, and him and his brother are all celebrating and shit like that. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
On the Wade concept, the host described Jake Paul as more than just a fighter. He's a manipulator who knows how to push the right buttons. He argued that Jake managed to pull Gervonta Davis into this matchup by flashing his wealth, building hype, and shaping the fight into a payday too big to walk away from. From this angle, Davis isn't necessarily chasing greatness, but responding to the lure of money. The host stressed that Jake's biggest weapon isn't his boxing, but his skills in promotion, marketing, and psychological pressure. By showcasing his fortune and using his platform, Jake maneuvered Davis into a fight that may not make sense competitively, but makes perfect sense financially.